Hello children. Today we will be learning Class 6, Chapter 5, Religious Trends in Ancient India. Let's begin. Towards the end of the Vedic period, the minute details of yagna rites acquired undue importance. Only the priestly class had knowledge of those details. Others no longer had the freedom to gain that knowledge. The Varna system restrictions became very hard in the course of time. A person's social position was decided by the Varna into which he was born rather than by his achievements. That is why, from the Upanishad period, we see that attempts were made to give a wider scope to religious thought and not restrict it only to yagna rites. However, the thought in Upanishads focused on the existence and nature of the soul. It was different for ordinary people to understand it. This gave rise to different sects that emphasized the worship of particular deities. For example, the Shaiva sect of Shiva worshippers and the Vaishnava sect of the worshippers of Vishnu. Different Puranas were written with reference to these deities. Certain trends around the 6th century BCE made attempts to express religious thought in such a way that the common man would understand it easily. Many people realized that every person is free to find ways of his own upliftment. This led to the establishment of new religions. These religions emphatically stated that discrimination on the basis of caste has no place in an individual's upliftment. The work of Vardhaman Mahavir and Gautam Buddha is of special importance among the proponents of new thought. Jainism. Jainism is one of the ancient religions in India. This religion gives importance to the principle of non-violence. According to the Jain tradition, a person who reveals religious knowledge is known as a Tirthankar. There have been 24 Tirthankars in all. Vardhaman Mahavir is the 24th Tirthankar in the Jain religious tradition. Vardhaman Mahavir from 599 BCE to 527 BCE. There was a Mahajanapada known as Vriji in what is known as the state of Bihar today. Its capital was Vaishali. Vardhaman Mahavir was born in Kundagram, a part of Vaishali. His father's name was Siddharth and mother's Trishala. Vardhaman Mahavir left his home and all comforts for the attainment of knowledge. He attained enlightenment after 12.5 years of rigorous tapa. This knowledge was pure or keval. Therefore, he is also known as Kevali. He was called Jina or conqueror because the joy derived from physical comforts and the discomfort felt due to undesired things had no impact whatsoever on him. The term Jain derives from the word Jina. Vardhaman is said to be Mahavir because he had the resilience, the courage to conquer all passions. After the attainment of knowledge, he preached about 30 years to explain the essence of religion to people. To make it easy for people to understand it, he spoke to them in Ardhamagadi, a people's language. The religion that he founded laid stress on good conduct. The essence of his teachings for good conduct is contained in the 5 great vows, Pancha Mahavratas, and the 3 jewels, Triratna. The assembly held by the Tirthankar to preach to people was known as Samavasaran. in Ardhamagadhi. Samavasaran was based on equality. People of all varnas had entry to it. The Pancha Mahavratas, the 5 great vows, these are 5 rules to be followed strictly. Ahimsa, non-violence. No living being should be hurt, injured or harmed through one's behavior. Satya, truth. Every speech and action should be true. Asteya, non-stealing. Asteya means theft. Taking what belongs to others without their consent is theft or stealing. Asteya means not stealing anything. Aparigraha, non-attachment. Man tends to accumulate property due to greed. Aparigraha means not hoarding or accumulating anything in this way. Brahmacharya, chastity. It means leaving bodily pleasures and following the vows. Triratna, the 3 jewels. The 3 jewels are the 3 principles. Samyak darshan, right faith, Samyak jhan, right knowledge, and Samyak charitra, right conduct. Samyak means balanced. Samyak darshan is to understand the truth in the preaching of the Tirthankar and to have faith in it. Samyak jnana, studying the preaching and philosophy of the Tirthankar regularly and learning its deep meaning. Samyak charitra, strictly following the 5 great vows. Essence of his teachings. Among the teachings of Mahavir, Anekantavada is considered to be very important in the quest for truth. It means pluralism or multiple viewpoints. In our quest for truth, if we focus on only 1 or 2 aspects or viewpoints and draw conclusions, the whole truth is not known. Therefore, it is necessary to pay attention to all aspects of an issue. If people follow this, they develop tolerance towards the opinions of other people in society and give up the attitude of stubborn adherence to their own opinions. Vardhaman Mahavir taught the people that the greatness of man does not depend on his varna but on his excellent conduct. In the Vedic tradition, the doors of knowledge had slowly been closed to women. But Vardhaman Mahavir gave the right of sannyas, the right to renounce the world, to women too. His teachings were, love all living beings, have mercy and compassion, live and let live. Buddhism. Buddhism spread in India and in many countries outside India. Gautam Buddha was the founder of Buddhism. Gautam Buddha, 563 BCE to 483 BCE. Gautam Buddha was born at Lumbini in Nepal. His father's name was Shuddhodana and mother's Maya Devi. His birth name was Siddharth. He attained knowledge of human life in his entirety. That is why he came to be known as the Buddha. He wanted to know why there is sorrow and suffering in human life. He left his home and all comforts in pursuit of the answer to this question. On Vaishakh Purnima, he was sitting in deep meditation under a peepal tree at Uruvela near the city of Gaya in Bihar. That is when he attained Bodhi, enlightenment or the highest knowledge. The tree is now known as the Bodhi tree, Bodhi Vriksha, and the place Uruvela is known as Bodh Gaya. To preach Dhamma, he preached in the people's language Pali. In Buddhism, the concept of taking refuge in Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha is important. It is known as Trisharan. The essence of the Dhamma he expounded is as follows. Arya Satyas, noble truths. There are 4 truths at the root of all human affairs. They are called noble truths or Arya Satyas. Dukkha, sufferings. There is suffering in human life. The cause of dukkha. There is a cause of suffering. Dukkha nivaran. It is possible to end suffering. Pratipad. Pratipad means the way. This way leads to the end of suffering. This is the way of good conduct. It is known as Ashtangik or Eightfold Path. Panchashil. Gautam Buddha asked people to follow 5 rules. The rules are called Panchashil. Stay away from killing animals. Stay away from stealing. Stay away from unethical conduct. Stay away from telling lies. Stay away from intoxicants. Bauddha Sangha. He created a Sangha of bhikkhus to preach his religion. Followers who gave up their domestic life and entered the Sangha were called bhikkhus. They too travelled on foot like the Buddha to preach Dhamma to the people. There was a separate Sangha of women. They are called bhikkhunis. People of all varnas and caste could embrace Buddhism. Essence of his teachings. Gautam Buddha announced the freedom of human intelligence. He refused the discrimination based on things like varna. No one is greater or smaller by birth. Greatness depends on one's behavior or conduct. One of his famous quotes is that even the little quail can chirp freely in her nest. This shows his thinking on the values of freedom and equality. He preached that like men, women too had the right to their own upliftment. He opposed the rituals of yajna. His teachings of wisdom, moral virtue, and other values are aimed at the welfare of man. Compassion, karuna, for all living beings was an extraordinary feature of his personality. The tolerance preached by Gautam Buddha is a guiding principle not only for the Indian society but for all mankind even today. Lokayat, the ancient trend of thought known as Lokayat or Charvak, is also important. It emphasized independent thought and rejected the authority of the Vedas. In the ancient period, new religious trends and thoughts went on emerging in India. Later on, religions like Judaism, Christianity, Islam, and Zoroastrianism also took root in the Indian society. Judaism. People belonging to the Jewish religion may have arrived in Kochi in Kerala around the 1st to 3rd century of the Christian era. They believe that there is only one God. Judaism emphasizes justice, truth, peace, love, compassion, humility, charity, ethical speech, and self-respect. Their prayer house is known as a synagogue. Christianity. Christianity is a religion founded by Jesus Christ. It has spread all over the world. Saint Thomas, one of the 12 disciples of Christ, came to Kerala in the 1st century of the Christian era. He established a church at Palayur in Thrissur district. In 52 CE, according to the teachings of Christianity, there is only one God. He is the loving Father of all and is omnipotent. It is believed that Jesus Christ is the Son of God who came to earth for the salvation of mankind. According to the teachings of Christianity, we are all brothers and sisters. We should love everyone, including our enemies. We should forgive those who err or go wrong. The Bible is the holy book of Christianity, and their prayer house is known as a church. Islam. Islam is a monotheistic religion. There is only one Allah, and Muhammad is his prophet. The message of God is revealed through him in the holy book of Quran Sharif. The word Islam means peace. It also means surrender to Allah. The teachings of Islam is that Allah is eternal, absolute, all-powerful and merciful. The purpose of human existence is to worship Allah. The Quran Sharif provides guidance on how man should behave in life. Since ancient times, there have been trade relations between India and Arabia. Arab traders used to visit the ports on the coast of Kerala. Islam spread in Arabia in the 7th century CE. Islam arrived in India in the same century through the Arab traders. The prayer house of Islam is known as a mosque or masjid. Zoroastrianism. Since ancient times, the Zoroastrian people and Vedic people have shared ties. The sacred text of the Parsi or Zoroastrian people is the Avesta. The language of the Rigveda and Avesta is similar. The Parsis came to India from the Pars or Fars province of Iran. Therefore, they are known as Parsis. It is mostly believed that they first came to Gujarat in the 8th century CE. Zarathustra or Zoroaster was the founder of the religion. Ahur Mazda is the name of their god. The elements of fire and water are very important in their religion. The sacred fire burns in the temples which are known as Agyaris. At the core of Parsi thinking are three main principles of conduct, namely good thoughts, good words, and good deeds. Thank you, children. That's all for today. Please make sure you watch the video again and also read through the religious trends in ancient India to understand it better. Also, please feel free to ask any questions you may have.